They didn't, this was not their intention. They did not formulate this. They were scholars, people gathered around them, learned from them. Those who studied under them, accepted the principles which they developed, etc., became known as students of the scholars. And that became like a school of thought, referred to as the madhab. The scholars themselves studied under each other. Imam Shafi'i, he went as a young teenager from Gaza in Egypt, and in Palestine he went to Medina to study under Imam Malik. And he studied there for more than 20 years until Imam Malik died. After studying under Imam Malik, he went to Yemen. From there he went to Iraq, and he studied there under the students of Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa was already dead. He studied under his students, Muhammad al-Shaybani, Abu Yusuf. And after that he wrote a book of fiqh principles which he called Al-Hujjah. Then he went to Egypt to study under Imam al-Layth, but Imam al-Layth died by the time he reached Egypt. So he studied under the students of Imam al-Layth. Al-Layth ibn Sa'd. Al-Layth was a contemporary of Imam Malik. And after studying under the students of Imam al-Layth, he said, Al-Laythu afqahu min Malik. Imam al-Layth was a greater jurist than Imam Malik. Now, if we were to say this, some people would say, oh, this is prejudicial. Who are you to judge the Imam? But now this is a student of the Imam. He can make that judgment. And he said, Al-Laythu afqahu min Malik. Layth was a greater jurist than Malik. But his students caused his school of thought to be lost. He had weak students. Imam Malik had strong students who were intellectually gifted, and they carried on his line of reasoning and train of thought, etc. All of which was interpretation of the Sharia, applying it for people. Still, Quran and Sunnah. Imam al-Shafi'i stayed in Egypt, and his school of thought became the school for Egypt and spread from Egypt. And he wrote a new book called Al-Um. And in this book, Al-Um, he changed many of the rulings that he had put in his book, Al-Hujjah. He didn't have any problem with it. And there are students. Imam Ahmad was a student of Imam Shafi'i, and so on. They studied under each other, their students studied under each other's students. Muhammad al-Shaybani, one of the leading students of Abu Hanifa, he is one of the narrators of the Muwatta of Malik. He studied under Imam Malik and memorized Imam Malik's book of Hadith. He's one of the narrators. This was the tradition of the righteous forefathers of the Ummah, known in Arabic as the Salaf. That they studied under each other, they studied under, most of the time, under some scholars, and they would take rulings from other scholars. They changed rulings when evidence came to them. This was the tradition. And this was what was carried on for generations by other scholars. However, a time came when, due to a variety of factors, rigidity set in. The schools became reduced to 3.5. Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, and Hanbali. Hanbali was like half. Just a few followers decreasing. And the attitude developed that these schools were to be followed by each person as a compulsory and obligation on each Muslim. Even they made rulings, this is after the 13th century, after the fall of Baghdad, that those people who switch from one school to another should be laxed. Rulings were made that if you are one school, you can't marry women from another school. Rulings like this were made. And in masjids built during that period, they would put two mihrabs. At that time, the most common two schools were the Shafi'i and Malik and Hanafi. So they would have two mihrabs, two places for the imams to stand. When the time for prayer came, the Shafi'i imam would lead his Shafi'i people. When they're finished, then the Hanafi would stand up and the Hanafi people would pray. Around the Kaaba, you see pictures of the Kaaba from the late 1800s, early 1900s. You will see structures around the Kaaba which identify Maqam Hanafi, Maqam Shafi'i, Maqam Hanbali, Maqam Maliki. And Maqam meaning the place to standing, the place to stand. The Imam used to stand there. It would lead prayer. And you had 4 different prayers going on around the Kaaba. Of course, this is not from Islam. Islam never taught this. People, due to their short-sightedness and rigidity, created this situation. Alhamdulillah, since that time, there has been change. The attitudes, the rigid attitudes of that period of some 200, 300, 400 years has decreased. Now people now are more able to pray behind each other, this type of thing. Alhamdulillah, due to the work and the efforts of many of the Muslim movements that are involved in conveying Islam to the masses of the people, from one level to another, from the Ikhwan to the Jamaat Tabligh, to Jamaat Islamic, the various movements which arose saw the weakness and the harm of this type of attitude and encouraged the followers to break down those barriers. Scholars like Shah Waliullah Dahlawi, he was among those who promoted the idea of reunifying the madhab, not having these differences, studying hadith more, etc., etc. So to some degree that decreased. However, it still remains in a number of communities, very rigid attitudes towards schools of Islamic thought. The reality, as I said, is that these schools are not religious in and of themselves. They are a means by which the scholars of the past sought to interpret the Sharia and help us to apply it in our lives. And they were human beings, meaning that the rulings of all of these schools are not perfect. As a whole, they encompass the deen. But as an individual, we cannot say this person or this individual, this school encompasses the deen. It is an attempt to apply. But as Muslims, we need to be able to draw from all of the sources. A person may study under one school because that is what's available, that is the institution he went to, they taught one school. But he doesn't become a blind follower. This is what Islam, in my view, does not uphold. The idea of blindly following any human being except Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the one who we should follow blindly. He said this, he did that, we follow him. Whether we understand it in the end or we don't understand it, we follow him. But anybody else, any other human being, we have to recognize that they are capable of error. Therefore, we do not follow them blindly. We may trust them, we recognize them as righteous scholars, etc., etc., and we will follow them, take rulings, etc., from them, but not blindly, meaning if somebody comes and brings us evidence which is comprehensible to us, which indicates different from what we have understood, then we do not have a reluctance to accept the new evidence that comes to us. This was the way of the early scholars and their students, and this should be the mentality of Muslims. so that this factionalism does not break the ranks of Muslims. Now, in more recent times, factionalism has spread into movements, where we have different movements have evolved in the 20th century for promoting Islam, that these movements, in a sense, or to some degree, have become like factions, where the members tend to look at others who are not members as being them, us and them. And this kind of mentality is again dangerous. It is harmful. Because the efforts of human beings to try to apply is always fraught with mistakes. And Prophet ﷺ said, كل بني آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. All of Adam's descendants commit errors, mistakes, and the best of those who commit mistakes are those who constantly turn to Allah's dependence. So we should not look at any of the movements as being infallible, incapable of any error. So if someone advises us, well, listen, this part of your movement, it needs correction, it's not quite right, then no! We cannot break away. We have now become traditionalists. We are so linked and keyed on to this thing, we cannot change it. It's become fixed. But wait, that is Sharia. Sharia is fixed and cannot be changed. Anything else that we make, any interpretation that we make, this can be changed. That is where the flexibility of the Sharia of Islam lies. There is a fixed aspect. The Quran and the Sunnah is unchangeable. But the fiqh, the understanding, interpretation, and application, this is changeable. This is why there should not be a problem for us if somebody tells us, listen, smoking cigarettes is haram. Yeah, Muslims will jump up, no, it's makruh, it's makruh, it's makruh. We know it's makruh. Yes, there was a ruling that it was makruh 500 years ago, when tobacco first came into the Muslim world, into the Ottoman Empire. And actually the Turks invented the rolled cigarette, because it came as pipe. The cigarette we smoke today now was invented by the Turks. Turkish Muslims. The scholars at the time, they analyzed this, because everything in Islam is placed into a category. The moral foundation of Islam. Either it is something compulsory, something recommended, something neutral, something disliked, something forbidden. So they said, how is it to do this thing? They looked at the effect of smoking. What did it cause? What is the harm that came from smoking? Was there harm? They said, yes, there is harm. It causes bad breath. This is why Western civilization spends so much money. You've got all these sprays, people, can buy to cover the smoker's breath. Horrible. Person who's been smoking for many years, even toothpaste can't remove it. So they have special sprays to cloud it. They looked at this, okay, this is the effect, and they said, let's go into Sharia. What is in Sharia dealing with things which cause bad breath? They found from Prophet and said, whoever eats onions, raw onions and garlic, don't come to our masjid. Why? Because of course in our salah, we pray very close to each other, we turn at the end of salah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Garlic, onion, okay, this makes life very difficult. So Prophet said to protect the ummah from the harm, he said, pray in your home. Now, the point is that prayer in the masjid is 25 to 27 times greater than prayer in the home. So anything which would deprive you of the additional benefits, we have to look at it as being makruh, disliked. So that ruling they said, which we apply to raw onions and garlic, we apply it now to smoking. But 1979, 500 years later, Western medicine stated, with the statement of the Surgeon General of the United States of America, it is conclusively proven that smoking causes cancer. Got a new set of information now. It's not just bad breath. This thing causes cancer. And they have been struggling for some 30 years. Companies, which are the cigarette companies, they have their own doctors doing their own research trying to cover it up. The other doctors saying, yeah, it causes, no, it's not clear evidence. They've been fighting. Cigarette companies have been fighting right up until that point. But when the evidence became so overwhelming that they couldn't resist anymore, they had to submit. So they had to write on their packages, danger to health, causes cancer, all these different statements. They're not doing it out of concern for the health of people. They're doing it because they're forced. So, scholars of this time rightly changed the ruling. A number of scholars of this time rightly changed the ruling from makruh to haram. Because this thing now causes cancer causes death. Anything which causes death, known to cause death, is haram for you to take it. Known to harm you is haram for you to take it. So the ruling changed. And this is fiqh. This is fiqh. This is the body of Islamic ruling, which can vary from time to place to circumstance. And this is how we have to look at the rulings of the scholars. Because what happens is that you may have two rulings of scholars on an issue. Both of them supported by evidence from the Quran and from the Sunnah. What do you do now?